So I'm waiting in my car for something, and I had a little extra time on my hands, and I thought, um, I was processing some ideas about the counteroffensive, and I was thinking, okay, so I know that people are going to be flipping out about how they're not getting information, and I would urge you not to worry about that. So the Ukrainian government was saying, shh, let's, media blackout, we want to be quiet. Well, so that is good, and I think it's healthy, and I think they want to have surprise on their side. And so I wouldn't spend time worrying about what information you're getting there. Some information is leaking through about where there are successes, and they're being judicious about updating the map. But I would just leave it alone for now. Things will come out soon enough. Now, at the same time, the Russians are going to use this as an opportunity to put out their agenda, their information war, and they are very proactive about their information war. So I've seen things about how 4,000 have been killed and RT and Pravda and 1,000 yesterday and what, right? So I've seen these kinds of articles. And then I hear the dupes, the useful idiots in America, but by that I mean there's a term, useful idiots, going back to the Soviet days, where there would be people who would go to the Soviet Union and then they would spout Soviet propaganda. They were useful to the Soviets. Folks like Colonel McGregor and Scott Ritter, and they're saying things like the 4,000 killed and repeating whatever the Russian Ministry of Defense says as if it is true. So I don't worry about them. Think about it like this: how truthful or accurate have they been in the past, right? How many times can they do a video that says Ukraine is finished, it's all over? I mean, they don't have a chance. You can only do that so many times, right? So when they're spouting figures like 10-1, which I saw on RT the other day, don't believe that. And if it was something like 3-1, that's bad, and that's what happens sometimes for attacking. And I know, don't put it in the comments, I know that means you need 3 people to attack for every defense. It's not a casualty thing. But if it was within a reasonable range, that'd be one thing. So don't worry about it. Expand the aperture, ask how credible the source has been before. If they're dam deniers, and I'm not cursing, I'm just saying, if they're denying that Russia blew up the dam, if they're saying Ukraine did it, you can just safely discount with a grain of salt. You got to ask yourself, should you trust them? And then ask where the facts are coming from. So when they're talking about whatever their facts or figures are about casualties or whoever, and Ukraine has to be careful not to fall into a trap here, because Ukraine can't say that's not true, the actual casualties are X. They can't do that. Has a policy not given out their casualty estimates, and I think that's probably the right course for them as well. So ask where the facts are coming from, and if it's coming from reputable journalistic sources, that's one thing, and you can look at it and try to understand it. But if they're just saying, here's what the Ministry of Defense of Russia has said, or Peskov, or Lavrov, or Medvedev, or whoever, then you can just discount it. In the meantime, when you're dealing with other people trying to, on comments, ask them for their sources. See that they'll prove their sources, like where to come from, and not just say, well, I can prove it, or prove me wrong. Not just that. Ask to actually see the sources, the link to the source. Ask them to tell you what the name of the link is if they can't provide a link, or provide the YouTube video link itself. And then finally, I would urge you to do something. Like, now is a time, especially if you're into humanitarian relief. I would lean towards humanitarian relief myself. That's just my temperament. Now is the time to donate to a worthy humanitarian relief cause, and do that now. This is a time where it'll count. The Russians were apparently shooting at people that were evacuating those caused by the flood. And I've seen this in multiple sources. This is not something that I'm just making up. You just document it. I mean, you can go and Google it yourself. And so, yeah, they're not only doing this with a dam, but then shooting at these people. And there are people that just need relief right now. So this would be a great time to do something, to donate, not to the International Red Cross. They have been, I hate to say it because I've never been anti-International Red Cross before, but they just are unwilling to go where they need to go in order to provide the relief that they need to provide. So find reputable organizations to provide, to donate to, and do that now. Thank you for caring. Thank you for being the kind of person that cares, that's willing to listen to my appeal now. But I urge you not to freak out about whatever is you're not being able to hear in the counteroffensive, because only one side is providing the narrative right now. And we know that that side lies and lies about lying. And they know that they're lying, and they know that we know that they're lying, and they lie anyway. So don't worry about that. All right. Thank you for listening to me. I'm sorry about the audio quality. It's because it's on my iPhone in my car as I had some downtime. Thank you for caring, and the likes and the shares, and thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.